Hi, I'm Donna with Wild Moon Healers. Thank you for taking this sacred pause in your week to just step out of the noise of everyday life and reconnect with yourself. Let's start by taking a deep breath together. Inhale, feel your belly expand. Let it go. Feel your shoulders drop down, releasing any tension. I'm so glad that you're here. My intention is that you leave this space feeling seen, supported, and with simple, tangible tools to help you begin reclaiming your rhythm. Not someone else's rhythm, but your natural rhythm. We've all known that feeling of losing the beat of our own becoming, that moment when you realize you've been doing all the right things. You're showing up, you're checking boxes, you're getting it done. Yet something feels off. Life starts to feel mechanical, routine, like you're moving but not flowing. Somewhere along the way, you stopped listening and your rhythm got lost in the noise. Today, I'm here to guide you back. We'll explore foundations of your energy, how it moves, how it speaks, how to restore balance when it feels out of sync. And most importantly, I'll give you tools that you can start using today to begin reconnecting with yourself. Everything happens for a reason. You are here right now because of divine purpose. And I am so glad that you're here. As someone who knows what it feels like to be lost, stuck, depressed, and deeply unhappy. My journey back to wholeness actually started with a Google search, how to be happy. Have you ever had a moment like that? You know, I was very successful on paper. I still am. I was raising my son. I bought my home. I had a thriving career. I had a second job when I needed it. I have a graduate level education. But my very soul felt deprived. My life felt like it didn't have meaning anymore. I witnessed myself shrink away from my potential and get sucked into this state of stuckness. No one deserves to be so far gone that they seek happiness on the internet like I did, because it's not something you can purchase with a click. It's something you remember, you come back to. You are whole. You just have to realign with your rhythm. So just take a breath and think. Where in your life might you be craving alignment? Today, I am on a mission to help people realize happiness is an inside job, and that can change when you fall out of rhythm. You can find it again. It's okay. It happens to everyone. This masterclass is for soul led individuals ready to stop overthinking, start aligning, and finally trust the timing of their own rhythm. Today, you will learn where to start. You'll walk away with this framework to create energetic integrity, the foundation for raising your vibration and living from your truth. By the end of today, you'll view yourself differently, knowing how energy equates to emotions and how to regulate your nervous system, and most importantly, how much you matter. So, how did all of this come together? Let me share the heart of Wild Moon Healers, the philosophy behind everything I teach. At Wild Moon Healers, we believe healing is not about fixing what's broken, because you are not. Healing is about remembering who you are, your wholeness, your wisdom, your rhythm. Wild Moon Healers is a holistic mental wellness platform that weaves together lunar cycles, breath work, chakra alchemy, somatic practices, spirituality, and evidence based mental health strategies. My niche is in lunar cycles, and there's both a literal and metaphorical sense to following the moon. But what truly sets Wild Moon Healers apart is the integration of spirituality and mental health woven together. It's not just one or the other. When you combine both, that's where deep awareness begins. This blend is what makes healing accessible, modern, and sacred all at once. It's how we create wholeness, self love, and profound transformation. Energy healing, lunar rhythms, and self awareness. These are the pathways that bring you home to balance. And my role today is to create a container where you feel safe, supported, and empowered to take the next step on your journey. What would it feel like to remember who you are instead of trying to fix yourself? Now that you understand the foundation of my work, let's talk about why following the moon is such a powerful guide for healing. So let's begin where it all began, with the moon, because she gives us such a beautiful mirror for our healing. When you align certain activities with the phases of the moon, you begin to move with nature. And in doing so, you rediscover the rhythm of your own nature, your truth. What is truth anyway? Truth isn't a static fact, it's a living, breathing rhythm that moves through our lives. Truth isn't knowledge. You can't think it into existence, but you can know it. Truth isn't words. You can't speak it into reality, but you can say it. Truth isn't a belief system. It's something you feel. It rises in our emotions. It whispers in our grief, and it burns in our passions. And yet, life doesn't pause when truth knocks us down. When I lost my father, it was just days before the summer solstice, season of light, energy, and growth. The collective was a waxing phase, right? It's building, expanding, shining energy. My business was in a new moon phase, full of new beginnings. But inside me, it was winter. This is the paradox of truth, that life often asks us to hold dualities at once: growth on the outside, loss within, expansion in one area, contraction in another. Can you think of a time when your inner season didn't match the outer world? Navigating these contradictions is rarely easy. You can't force yourself into a cycle that isn't your own. You're allowed to honor the truth of where you are, even when the world around you is in a different season or cycle. Every moon, every season holds wisdom. The new moon invites us to set intentions. The waxing phase helps us plan, take action. The full moon illuminates our shadows. And the waning moon teaches us release, forgiveness, surrender. When we live in rhythm with these cycles, we stop forcing ourselves to be on all the time with go, go, go energy. We begin to flow rather than fight for survival. By honoring the truth, there we go. By honoring your truth, giving yourself grace to live your own rhythm, you find integrity, healing, and the deepest form of self trust. And that brings us right into one of the most important principles of healing, which is trust. Healing always comes back to trust. We have three centers of intelligence: head, heart, and gut. The head gives us logic and analysis. The heart gives us emotion and empathy. And the gut gives us instinct and action. So here's the question: why does the head seem to win most of the time? We hold so much knowledge and wisdom in our bodies, yet we've learned not to trust it. That's why the head seems to win. We've stopped listening. Which of these centers tend to lead you? Our culture overvalues thinking and tangible proof. We get trapped in mental loops, analyzing, fixing, explaining, and we forget that wisdom also lives in our body and in our soul. We learn that logic prevails, emotions are irrational, our intuition is unreliable. Especially for women, being emotional has been labeled a weakness. However, emotion is how the body expresses itself. When I stopped fighting my emotive nature, life got better. I learned that being emotional and honoring my feelings isn't the same as being reactive. The difference lies in regulation. When we're constantly in fight or flight, sympathetic mode, emotions feel like explosions. But when we're in our body, emotions become messages. At the root, we learn to trust in survival, to know that we are safe, we belong here, we are here on purpose. No one on this earth is a mistake or here by mistake. At the heart level, we learn to trust ourselves, our choices, our feelings, our worth. And at the crown, we learn to trust the divine, to remember we are held by something bigger than ourselves. We are physical, spiritual, mental, and emotional beings. These three centers of intelligence form a bridge between them. And trust, that is the thread that weaves them all together. It keeps us true to our path, our purpose. And when that bridge is weak, that's when we wobble. But when trust is strong, we stand in integrity. To begin rebuilding trust, we have to start with the body, because our body is the first place where trust either breaks down or takes root, right? It's a body based experience before a mental response. One of the major players in this healing journey is the nervous system. Most of our body's functions happen automatically. We don't think about breathing, digesting, or our beating heart. Our body just does it. But there's one system that's both automatic and something we can consciously influence, and that's the breath. When used with intention, breathing becomes the fastest way to regulate the nervous system. You've probably heard the fight or flight response. That's the sympathetic system. It's designed for short bursts of stress, not a lifestyle. Then we have the parasympathetic system. That's the rest and digest part of the body's natural return to calm. The challenge is that most people live in a dysregulated system, spending years, even decades, stuck in that sympathetic overdrive, a state of hyper arousal. Do you notice yourself living in go mode more often than calm mode? When we live in go mode, running on adrenaline, pushing through, thinking we're being productive. However, the truth is that is our body simply trying to survive. When we're in that state, the body redirects our oxygen-rich blood away from our core into our extremities because it's preparing us to fight or run. That's why our organs, especially the gut, become undernourished, under-oxygenated, under-massaged by the diaphragm. This matters because your gut isn't just a digestive organ, it's your second brain. The enteric nervous system is located in the gut wall. It's constantly communicating with the brain through the vagus nerve. So when your gut is inflamed, malnourished, or stressed, you feel it in your mind. Tens of millions of Americans who are experiencing ongoing digestive distress aren't just dealing with some sort of autoimmune or food issue. They're dealing with breath issues. Emotional regulation depends on three key factors: what we eat, how we process it, and how we breathe. These three, food, breath, and how your body processes both, form the foundation of both our physical health and our mental wellness. This is where science meets spirit. Your nervous system is your body's energetic switchboard. When you're in fight or flight mode, your breath stays shallow. Your body never feels at ease. But with deep, purposeful breathing, slowing down and oxygenating the whole body brings you into a state of regulation. This is why I always say your breath is a bridge. It's how you get out of your head and back into your body. And if you think about it, where you breathe through your nose and your mouth, it's positioned just below the brain and near the place where the vagus nerve begins. This is more than anatomy, this is architecture. The nose, the mouth, the throat, the lungs form a physical bridge between the thinking mind and the feeling body. Each purposeful breath that passes through this bridge awakens the vagus nerve, sending a message downward that says, "You are safe." And in that moment, the breath becomes more than air, it becomes energy in motion, reconnecting to the wisdom that already lives within you. When we stay stuck in sympathetic mode, it's like being frozen at the top of this bell curve. All the tension, emotion, old memories, trauma